You have the power to write and define your future. It truly is in your hands. You can make it happen. No one's going to bring you the job. No one's going to bring you the husband. It's not going to land in your lap. You have to be open to receiving it, to accepting it, but also, I believe, working on yourself to be ready for when it comes.
I want to so dive deep into your book because as I started to read it, there's so many freaking nuggets of gold that people can take away and use in their everyday life. I thought of it as it was a cookbook, but once I started to really pull it apart, it is literally a person's guide to living their best life. I really want to start with how you got to this book in the first place. And I pulled a quote of yours that said, I had a choice. And this is based on your mum leaving at the age of 9. Yeah. I had a choice. I could become a victim of my childhood circumstances, or I could find strength in struggle and create a life full of love, beauty, and celebration. Now, girls, so many people go down the rabbit hole of the struggle. They go down the rabbit hole of, for the rest of their lives, they are unable to celebrate themselves because of what has happened and the trauma that they've had in their childhood. So talk to me about how you took your childhood and made it a beautiful thing, and created these amazing traditions. And then we can dive deep into the traditions themselves.
Honestly, I just remember being lost in my adolescence, being sad when I was young, 9 to 12, being lost in my adolescence, 12 to 18, being a rebel when I was in my 20s, like, oh, who cares, to being sad and lost and like, what am I doing? Where am I going? What is the goal here? Who do I want to be? And the excuses of, well, my mom left, so who cares, didn't work anymore. The excuse of, well, this is the hand I was given, so, oh, well, was a lame excuse. And I think actually on that note, it's why I would never say so in person, but I have very little patience for when people say, oh, woe is me. I'm like, no, you can do something about this. And so I just remember really asking myself, what do I want in life? What do I see as my end game? And it always was with a family. Then I thought, well, in order to have a family, I need to have an amazing relationship with my husband. We need to have a great foundation to raise little human beings in this world. I don't want to bring them into a dysfunctional relationship like I had. So I have to, work on finding a husband like most women, but then it was deeper. What kind of husband do I want? And how do I want to attract that husband? And so I just started shifting my thinking. And I know I'm simplifying it here. Obviously, I get into it a little bit in the book. And this is years of me working on myself and my relationship with my husband and my girlfriends and my kids. But ultimately, I think that I would love for people to realize that their messy pasts don't have to define their future in whatever capacity that means. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a child of divorce or your mom has to leave you. You can have your parents in your life still, but have a messiness in some other way, whether it's an insecurity or whatever. And that you have the power to write and define your future. It truly is in your hands. You can make it happen. No one's going to bring you the job. No one's going to bring you the husband. It's not going to land in your lap. You have to be open to receiving it, to accepting it, but also, I believe, working on yourself to be ready for when it comes. And so for me, it was something as simple as what made me feel good? What was my comfort? And my comfort were things that reminded me of the good times growing up. It was Christmas mornings. It was certain dishes. Even though my mom left me when I was 9, her chicken adobo always made me feel better. And so I was determined to make my own chicken adobo. And I now serve it to my kids and my husband. It was smells, the smell of, pumpkin spice in the fall holidays. It was the smell of vanilla in the spring. It was all of these things. It's smells, it's songs, it's food. So I finally realized I've been creating my life from scratch for my children and my children's children. I used to be so upset I didn't have recipes passed down or jewelry passed down or even words of wisdom. I mean, I'm the girl that wore a white dress to a wedding because she didn't have a mom telling her not to. So that was embarrassing. And I thought that's really powerful. This tradition starts with you. You have the power. And so hence the name, Life from Scratch, family traditions that start with you. It's a very vulnerable, there's vulnerable moments in it, but all my truth. And I believe even this tumultuous relationship I had with my mother made me who I am now. So I'm okay to share that story because I'm proud of the mom I am and the wife I am and the friend I am now.
Oh god, that was so amazing. I didn't want to interrupt you, but there's so many like freaking nuggets of gold that you like brushed past. I'm like, oh my god, I want to go deep, because so many people have had situations where they've, past traumas, where they've, used that as a reason, you even said like as an excuse. And the hard thing is where they go from finding that as an excuse to then it holding them back. So was that the thing? Because you said I started to, see like what I actually wanted in life. Was that because you noticed that the trauma was actually holding you back from the life you wanted?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I ended up living in New York, and I was working a great show, and I was going out at night, and it's literally like that movie, when you watch the movie with the old man sitting in the mansion with the bourbon, he's like, I wish I fell in love and had kids. He's like alone and he dies miserable. No, the money in the world doesn't make me happy. I should have married her and had kids. It's like that. I'm like, you can only live this rock star lifestyle for so long. And so it just was literally sitting down, what do I want? And it was as simple as I want a family, then working backwards from that. And that might not be someone else's. What do you want? I want to be a Fortune 500 company. Then where do you go with that? What do you want? I want to be a musician. You can start now learning music. Like it's whatever you want and however you want to define it. You can start it today and not live in regret.
Yeah, God, I love that. And like, even with what you did and how you broke it down, it's so tactical. And that's what I'm all about. Cause I'm like, I can get in my own way emotionally. Like I can feel sad for myself. I can feel the sorrow, but at the end of the day, how do I get past it? And it really is getting tactical, putting things in place that make me take action. And exactly what you just said, what I freaking love, girl, is that you just broke down. I looked around and said, where were my moments where I was happy? And like that, like everyone at home right now, like start writing down what all those things are. You even said the smell, girl, that's so beautiful.
Think about it. When you come home and you like light a candle and you're like, oh, the smell, or is it a cozy fire? Or is it, I talk about a gift giving tradition with my girlfriends, and every time I wear the necklace, I feel it. And I'm reminded of them. It's these things, it's these moments that we can't glaze over. They connect our life and our past to our future. And in the present, we have to recognize them. But I guess I am a type A personality, and I am very black and white. And so that's what started this. I've learned to let a lot of it go because I'm a mother of 3 kids. You can't be completely type A. Crazy. But I needed something tangible to latch on to get over the mental trauma of not having it, and the excitement of creating Sunday brunches for my husband on football Sundays, the excitement of my kids waking up the first day of school. Like I was more excited. At some point, sometimes it is more for me. And, I'll stay up until midnight some nights because I've had a full day of work. And what was the one we just did most recently? Oh, the first day of school. And I was doing all this stuff. And Nick was like, this is more for you than them because they're going to be up and they're out of the door in, 15 minutes. And I said, yes, but they'll remember. They'll remember. And every year for my son's birthday, I print photos out of all of the birthdays prior. And this year we were actually in Maui in a hotel room with no printer. So I was like, he won't remember. He woke up that morning and said, are the pictures out there, mommy? And I was gutted. So as soon as we got back to our house, he went to school that Monday. He came home and they were all in the kitchen. So it's these little things like birthday morning. I remember my photos. The day after Thanksgiving, we're going to decorate for Christmas. Every Sunday, we're going to have this casserole. It's these things that help calm them and make them feel safe so that everything else can kind of fall into place.
Yeah, I love that so much because I'm such a, I don't know if you've ever read the book Atomic Habit, but like it all talks about how to implement habits in order to better your life. And when I was reading your book, I literally was like, oh my God, this is like the best tool book for like implementing habits. Like for instance, so let's just take what you just said about your friends. So you guys have like the friendship gift giving. And if I can pull a quote on Friends that you said, friendship is a beautiful relationship, but that needs a lot of TLC. And that's the one thing that a lot of my audience talk about, is like, how do we build friendships with our other female friends? And it is hard work. And what I love is that you've literally put a tradition in place that allows you as a friend to keep connecting with your friends. So you never have the moment where it's like, oh my God, it's been 2 years and I haven't connected. Like, that is so powerful. So talk to me a bit about that. Talk to me how you galvanize your friends to do it together. And what that's actually done for the tightness of your friendships.
We, to your point, life happens. And I don't want to say we forced it, but we almost did. You have to. We've all got careers. We're all traveling. We've all got kids. We've all got things. So birthdays, it doesn't have to be on the exact birthday, but the birthday month. That's the deal. In the birthday month, we're going to have dinner and celebrate you in the birthday month. And in that birthday month, we all decide at the beginning of the year what the piece of jewelry is. And in the book, I talk about this, and it's not anything extravagant. Like the first necklace we got was $40 each, but 40 times 5, it was a $200 gold necklace with this teeny little heart pendant. It's so beautiful and delicate, and it means so much to me. And we're all connected through that. We all got the same pendant. We all were excited about it. We all know we're going to dinner, and we know, give me the box. It's my turn. I get it now. And then the others who aren't that birthday don't get it until it's their birthday. And it really keeps us connected. So that's the tangible black and white type A thing that puts us together in the room. And then from there, we nurture that bond. And I think that the hardest thing about friendship is reciprocity. We always want to know that people have our back when we're down, but we don't ever think to reach out to them. And I think COVID taught a lot to people about reaching out to friends and checking in and realizing that you don't need to just catch up when things are hard or down. You also need to just say, hi, I'm thinking of you and I appreciate you. And how are you? Or you're on my mind. And I promise you, if you text a friend and say, hey, I was thinking about you, crossed my mind, they're probably like, oh my God, I just thought about you the other day too.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's that. And that's what I mean by work. It is work. And to get a sitter and to go out to dinner once a month for our birthday, not every month in the 12 months, because I'm being realistic, but there's 5 of us. So I know in a year, we're going to have 5 dinners. And sometimes we miss one because someone's traveling. So then we do a double birthday the next month. But we do it every year. And during COVID, we did it with a Zoom, and we shipped the piece of jewelry, and we always try to make it happen. And that's, you need that outlet, because you need that bitch session with your girlfriends that you don't do to your spouse, because that will drive them crazy.
Yeah. Didn't you say that your friends are like your lifeline or something?
Oh, absolutely. There's just some stuff that my husband doesn't want to hear, whether it's like, hey guys, I'm going to get a new dishwasher. What do we have to, oh my gosh, there's this thing with, my son, like, what do you think this is? It's like Google with your girlfriends. You know what I mean? You get to like just bounce everything off of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's what we need to keep our sanity.
And it's so, like, again, it just goes back to, it's a thread that you're having with your friends that continuously reminds each other that we're there for, that you're there for each other. And with friendship, that's so important. And as busy as you are, girl, like 3 kids, a full-time job, writing a book, like having a husband, all of this, like, it is so much. You talk about very eloquently in the book about the traditions that you have with Nick. And I've got a quote of yours that says, to keep the spark alive. Nick and I try to remind each other that before our crazy family started, we were just 2 kids in love. Keeping that spark alive is important, and it's not always easy. So creating a tradition that allows both of you to refocus and rekindle the romance is key. Talk to me about the importance of that, again, going back to the tradition and the reminding, and how that has really helped your relationship in times like this, where just there's so much going on in your life.
It's funny because I've never looked at it this way with the tactical, but that's 100% what it is, And so yes, you do force it in the sense that you have to set up a time, you have to set up a place, you have to get the sitters, you have to line it up, but I promise you'll never regret it on the other end. And so right now, the thought of a vacation with Nick it's just not possible. We have 3 kids in a city where we have 0 family. I'm working full time. The book is going to come out in November. That is also our birthday. And I said, no, we have to do our birthday trip because we have the same birthday, and we have to force that time. I have to let work know. He has to let, we set it up. And then once we're there, it's like, yes, we did this and we have this. It truly is not glazing over those moments, not just the date moments, but any of the moments, the first day of school, a birthday, a holiday, because it can pass you by, and they don't have to be extravagant. You don't have to have this ginormous 40th birthday party bash, but you do have to do something to celebrate it. I think it's funny because the moment that I realized how important it was for me was the very first Christmas that I had with Nick. I had just moved from New York and he was renovating his bachelor pad and I was helping because I was like the new girlfriend, like, oh, I'll help pick out tile. They were renovating the kitchen and the rest of the house. There was only one room, the guest room and the guest bathroom. So we were literally living in the guest room and using the guest bathroom as a kitchen sink. We were eating out. It was kind of awful, but we were together. And it was such a small room. We're like, let's not get a tree this year. It's ridiculous. We're just going to go over to Drew and Leah's, his brother and sister-in-laws, and we'll celebrate with them. And we woke up Christmas morning and we were so sad. It was like, this sucks. Like it's Christmas and we're together, but we're like, there's no magic. There's no light. So that day we went and got this like tiny little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. And we promised to always make it a thing that we did together. So now our biggest tradition is the day after Thanksgiving, come, rain or shine, he is pulling all of the Christmas stuff out and we decorate. And now we do it with the kids. So we'll start that night and then we do it with the kids the next day. And it does feel different. The home feels different when it's filled with ornaments that you've had for years and pieces of, figurines and just magic. And so never again will I glaze over a holiday when I realize how my emotional state is attached to this tangible date.
That's so powerful that you learned that early, because then you got that to remind yourself every time. But that's the problem, is like in the moments of overwhelm or stress or anxiety, where it's like that, those are the times you really don't feel like it. But of course, those are the times that you really need it. So
finding ways to say no to other things that will stress you out or give you anxiety, to be able to say yes to the things that matter, that you need to do. And I said this to my girlfriend today. She just had her third baby and she's like, I'm feeling mom guilt. I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm overwhelmed. And I'm like, you need to learn the power of no. And I don't mean it rudely, but if someone's like, let's go to the beach today, you have to say no. And if your daughter has a soccer game, let your husband take her. A parent is there. And don't feel guilty, say no, because then you're home with the baby and you're like taking a minute. Whereas if you're rushing to get to the soccer field, you've got the baby and you're breastfeeding and you're going to stress yourself out. And so I said, your true friends will forgive you and your family will love you no matter what. So I think the power of no is a very powerful thing that I've learned as I've gotten older, but also making the moments. You can't just say no all the time, because then people are like, oh, you're a flake.
Well, how do you handle then the guilt in the moments where, like, even because I find that even if I know it's the right thing, I still feel guilty about it.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, because I struggle with that as well. But what I try, a mantra that Nick and I always had is put family first. And if we put our family first, then there's no regret. And so if I feel guilty for some other reason, but I put my family first, then it was the right choice. If I did something for my husband as opposed to a friend or work, then it's family. It was the right choice. So if we always make a choice by putting our family first, I think you'll always end up coming out on top. But look, you're human. I feel like people are really appreciative when you're like, I'm going through a lot right now. And I think I overcommitted. Can we rain check? I don't know when. I'm not going to say next weekend, because I'm being honest. I love you. I want to rain check. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, thank you. As opposed to something came up or something, blaming the kids or whatever. I'm honest with my friends, and I think they respect that more, and then they understand more. And then they're inclined to text you the next day and go, how you feeling? You good today? Or can I do anything? And they're kind of on the same level as you, instead of like berating you and beating you down because you lied about why you didn't go, How
do you handle then self-care and your family? So you said, as long as you're putting your family first, does that include self-care, or is that something that you have to navigate and balance, quote unquote?
It's kind of, that's a loose one, because the self-care is for me, but the better I am for my family. If I'm short-tempered, if I'm, short-fused, then I'm not going to be a great mom or wife. So like, for example, the one that I think of now is I'm working so much that I'm actually extremely tired. So I've told Nick, like, one day I got 4 hours of sleep, and the next day it was like 2.5 hours because of these. And I was like, babe, I know, like, I love sleep. I can nap. I'm a girl. Like, I want to sleep in. So I just have to be honest with him. And I'm like, what can I do? What can I do today to ask you to help me tomorrow to get some extra hours, since my call time's a little later? And as long as I get ahead of it with him in this specific situation, and for me, that self-care is getting those extra hours of sleep and waking up refreshed. Sometimes it's setting up, Nick, can you take the 2 kids and I'll get Camden a play date, and then I'll go do something with my girlfriends, and it's something for me, but then I come home and I feel refreshed. So it's just like it is with the girlfriends and with the spouse. It's making time for yourself and making a date with yourself, doing something you want to do. That's self-care. It's not necessarily like, getting a massage and getting your nails done, although those are great. It's doing something for you. Or saying, hey, just having an open conversation to your spouse. Hey, I'm going to cook dinner and, help put one of the kids down. Can you get the other two while I take a bath for myself? And I feel like if you were to say that to your spouse, they wouldn't go, hell no.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, thanks. As opposed to just going, I just wanted a bath today. Like they're not a mind reader,
Right.
So communication for sure, but knowing what you want and then trying to set it up so that when you do it, you're guilt-free. You're like, Camden's at a play date, Nick's with the other two, the kids are good. I can be here guilt-free, is what I do.
Yeah. And so in reading your book on how self-aware you were with certain things, so like with self-care, you even said that you noticed that it started to come like every spring. And then I believe you even said like you went to a doctor and it somewhat gave you permission to do self-care. Talk to me about that, what the permission felt like, and then how other people can really start to become self-aware in order for them to be able to take care of themselves so they can show up for their family, like you just said.
Yeah, I think it's, when I said permission, I mean like that it's okay to not have it all together.
Right.
Like we all always feel like we have to have it all together. And it's like, no, you're human. Nobody's, even my life. I mean, if I could give you a full rundown, like it's not all together. It's nobody knows, what goes on in my ins and outs except for me and my husband. And I remember feeling overwhelmed, crying at things that I would never normally cry at, feeling, I'm like, am I depressed? Is it my thyroid? Like, is what's going on? And she's like, Vanessa, you just came out of the holidays. You have 3 kids. You're a working mom. You're hitting pilot season. She listed all these things. And she's like, it's not that she just self-diagnosed. She like checked my body physically and then talked to me. And she's like, you're just burnt out. And that's okay. And she said, you just need to take a minute. And so now what my husband and I have learned to do, communication is so key. And both of us need to say, I need a minute. I am feeling the way I verbalize it is I'm like, babe, I'm almost at an 11. I need to walk away before I say something I regret, whether it's to my kids or to my husband. It's just getting in front of it and knowing that, because I've found so many times that when you hold it in and you blow up, you end up beating yourself up, or you end up hurting someone close to you and then beating yourself up for hurting them. So, and I mean, hurting them verbally, not physically hurting them, but like I might say, guys, get it together. And then I'm like, oh my God, they're 4. What's he going to get? Just because you had a hard day. So for me, it's really been, to your point, having to be self-aware and then communicating it and like letting Nick know, because he's not a mind reader. But also on the flip side, me coming home and saying, hey, babe, today was a good day. I'm off tomorrow. I'm here. What do you need from me? And letting him have that permission to be like, thank God, because I need you right now to take the kids. I'm going to go work out, or I need to go do some stuff on Zoom, or I need to, it's, the reciprocity again, just like a friendship. So is your relationship. I mean, Nick is my best friend, and why wouldn't I give him the respect I give my girlfriends? It's being self-aware, but also communicating that. And that's been the biggest tool for us, to say, hey, I need you right now, or, hey, I'm good. Do you need me right now? Kind of thing. And not be passive aggressive about it, just very, loving and supportive and matter of fact about it. And our communication definitely got better during quarantine because there was no running away. There was no flying to an appearance or a concert or a TV show. It was 3 kids, 2 dogs, 2 guinea pigs, fish, me, Nick, in a house. We couldn't even, there were times in LA where we weren't even allowed to go to the beach or to parks for months on end. So we really learned how to communicate more, and it wasn't an easy process, but I will say now we're stronger than we've ever been. And we have so much more respect and love, mutual respect and mutual love for each other, because we know where it came from, and it didn't come from anywhere malicious. It just came from issues and things that we're working on ourselves. And mostly certain, not regrets, but insecurities we have about raising kids. Man, it's tough. Talk about a job that you want to like beat yourself up at. I'm constantly saying, am I doing this right? And I'm constantly reminded that if I show my kids love, then I'm doing it right. as long as they know they're loved and they feel safe at home, then you're doing it right. Everything else we got to figure out.
Yeah. And I think you even say like, you're perfectly imperfect. Is that the right quote?
Yes, perfectly imperfect, beautiful chaos, all of that. There's no cookie cutter way to do it. And that's one thing I would hope that people take out of this book. I'm not telling people how to live a perfect life. I'm giving them stories of me on how I came out from the other end. And this is what helped me. And hopefully it will inspire them in one way or another to create their own happy ending and their traditions and their lifelong happiness.
God, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like the notion of starting from scratch is, I think it can be so beautiful to think, oh, wow, my past doesn't define me and everything I've been through doesn't define me. And the only thing matters is, what do I do today? And what am I doing in the future to set myself up? And you even said it earlier, that everything you've done is really setting you up for the future, right? The future of relationships, the future, friendships, even the self-care thing is like the future relationship with yourself. And that is so important.
Yeah. Also, not just glazing over, like what I've learned, and this is probably the harder part of the process, is accepting the tumultuous past that we have in a positive way. So seeing that my mother left, as that's what made me stronger and more appreciative as a mother now, instead of holding on to that in a negative way. So finding a way, it sounds very cliche, finding a way to forgive the bad things and realize, like, even, I lived in New York and I would stay up late and I'd go to clubs and I'm like, I was a mess. I'm like, what am I doing? But now I look at that as, okay, now I have no desire. I have no regret. I did it in my 20s and now I'm totally content staying at home with my husband, a glass of wine, watching Ted Lasso. Like, you know what I mean? It's, if you look at all the mistakes and all the things that you look back on, you're like, oh my God, find a way to see what light that brought to you now and then move forward with that. I think is healthy. At least, again, that's what helped me. Instead of a woe is me past, it's like, okay, that made me this, and now I'm going to change and break the cycle.
So there's one thing in your book that you said, you talk about the dress rehearsal, and you mentioned it earlier, but I want to talk about this being so freaking genius on like a scale of like, in fact, if you can just give us a bit of a quick story about what the dress rehearsal is, and then I want to break down why it's so freaking genius.
So the dress rehearsal, having two parents in the industry, what we always do before a show is we do a dress rehearsal, especially for live shows. What that entails is hair, makeup, wardrobe. You come out, you have your mic, you're doing everything as you would when it's live, so that you can make sure, oh, I can move in this suit, or I can walk in this dress. My mic check, 1, 2 works. This hair looks great on camera. The makeup is glowing. Good. Dress rehearsal. Boom. Great. We'll see you tomorrow. We implemented this with our children for the first day of school. There is nothing worse than going through 3 months of summer with pajamas all day, popsicles all night, sleepovers, no schedule, no rules. And then bam, waking them up on the actual first day of school. And they're like, what just happened? I was shot out of a muffler. So what we do is the Sunday before the Monday of the first day of school, we pretend it's the first day of school. Dress rehearsal. We wake them up at 6:30 because that's the time we have to wake them up in school. We get them dressed. This is what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's get up. What's next? We go, we change. What's next? We go eat breakfast. What's next? We come upstairs, brush our teeth, get our shoes on, grab our backpack, get in the car, drive to school. The bus stop, we're there at 7:15. Boom. It worked. Maybe we need to get you up a little earlier, Phoenix, because you struggled in the morning. Brooklyn, you did a great job. Camden, we need to put your clothes out because you couldn't decide on what color shirt to wear. But this was a great dress rehearsal. Then we go get pancakes, right? Then Monday comes and we wake them up at 6:30. They're like, I did this yesterday. I got this. They know what's next. And so in a type A OCD world, they have that power of expectation. And they're not jolted with the reality of the actual first day of school. In fact, they do it. And then when they come down, there's balloons. I make it a little more special than dress rehearsal day. And there's, a special breakfast, and I do confetti on the table and maybe give them some cool colored pencils and an extra little cool bag for school. But it's a little more special than dress rehearsal day, but they did it the day before. So they understand the expectation of what we expect. So we're not yelling at them, screaming at them, getting out the door. And if there's any time that we need to make up, we know that, and we can implement it the next day.
So here's the thing, girl. when I think about what creates anxiety, I've interviewed a lot of therapists on my show. And the thing is, it's always the fear of what's about to happen. It's not what's actually happened, right? It's the anxiety of I am not sure what's about to come. And I'm so fearful that I almost cannot move, or I'm not enjoying this. And when I started to hear your breakdown, I'm like, this is the perfect antidote for anxiety on big occasions. But when I started to read your book and read your breakdown of everything that you do and what you guys do with your kids, and then even just how you set up the morning on the actual day. Oh my God, girl. I was like, okay, it helps with anxiety. It helps with any unknowns. It helps eliminate any issues that may come up that now is going to just fuel the anxiety, right? You even said, oh, he takes actually longer, so let's wake him up earlier. So it eliminates any of that. And you've made it so special. So now this moment where people could be petrified and see it as a dread, oh my God, the first day of school, you've just completely flipped it. And now you've set your kids up with the most beautiful situation to then go to school with the most amazing attitude and set up for success.
Yes. Yes. We take everything we can out of it that would cause the anxiety and just let them go into the day excited. And that's where I come in with the balloons and the breakfast and the confetti. And it's like, this is a celebration of a day. And then we drop them off and I feel like they're pumped, I mean, there's still going to be some butterflies because it's always daunting to walk into a first day of school, but we've done everything we can to set them up for success.
Girl, thank you for writing such an amazing book. Where can people go and find it and get all the good stuff and follow you and everything that you're doing?
Oh, thanks. The book is sold anywhere books are sold, but right now at barnesandnoble.com, you can pre-order a signed copy. But anywhere, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, it's going to be in Target. It's wherever you can find a book, it's going to be there.
Hell yeah. Guys, go check it out. I had so much fun reading it. There were so many tactics and tips that I've already learned. And I'm not much of a cook, but I'm definitely going to start implementing a lot of those traditions. So go check it out. If you're not following me, guys, follow me at Bilyeu. And if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button down there. And until next time, guys, be the hero of your own life. Peace out.